got done watching today's opening arguments for the Ninth Circuit appeal of the Prop 8 case through federal court, and we just wanted to offer a little synopsis for those who may not have been able to watch it. Today we saw the original hearing for standing in the case, wherein they decided whether or not the folks from ProtectMarriage.com and actually the deputy clerk from Imperial County have the ability to defend Prop 8 since Governor Schwarzenegger and now Attorney General Kamala Harris have chosen not to. Those arguments went on for quite some time. There were some very probing questions asked, and Charles Cooper really got grilled by the justices on this one, which is not always an indicator that the justices don't agree with them, but there certainly was some heated back and forth there.
Who did Charles Cooper represent?
Charles Cooper is counsel for the defense. We saw him a lot during the district court case with Judge Vaughn Walker. And
so they're the people who are trying to make Prop 8 stay?
Yes, okay. They are.
Just so people don't know who people are.
Yeah, and he's the attorney who got busted last time around for when asked what harm Prop 8 causes, he said, I don't know. So once that wrapped up, there's the final determination of that was the justices were unclear as to whether or not there was actual precedence for standing, and they're going to refer back to the California State Supreme Court.
Well, they said they might. They haven't come out with a ruling.
Yeah, they were unclear on it.
This is just a hearing.
They had to go ask, pretty much, was what it came down to. And then we moved on in the next hour to opening arguments in the trial, which saw Ted Olson and David Boies give tag team arguments along with Charles Cooper on the defense side of it, which was kind of curious since they haven't established whether or not they can even defend Prop 8. They still went through with their opening arguments. Charles Cooper, in defense of Prop 8, went back to the same arguments that he gave in the previous district court case, that marriage is between a man and a woman, that it is about society's interest in the case and the state's interest, that protecting marriage has to do with procreation between a man and a woman. Now, the interesting thing about using that argument is Teresa Stewart, who is challenging Prop 8, who's on our side, if I'm getting my terminology correct here, made the point that gay people have kids too. We have them the old-fashioned way, we have them in non-traditional ways, and California law treats gay couples and the children of straight families exactly the same. So you
mean Daniel and Selena need to be protected?
Of course they do.
Yeah, so basically just the fact that they have gay parents doesn't mean that they don't get to have rights.
Right. So Charles Cooper's arguments that the state has an interest in marriage because of the protection of children just got shot out of the water with Teresa Stewart's opening arguments, in my opinion. Because if it's all about kids, guess what? Gay families have kids too.
Yeah, she's an incredible attorney.
Yeah. And David Olson and Ted Boies did an amazing job of arguing it on a constitutional viewpoint that, gay people are... Sexual orientation is written into California's Constitution as a protected class. So you can't discriminate... Not sure I'm going to get that point he made down right. You can't discriminate the actions made by those people. Okay, you can't do... I'm not getting that right. I'd have to go back to the trial tracker and look up the comment again. But he basically made the point that we have built a wall around gay people and said, these people are different. We're going to treat them differently. And we haven't really given a good reason why, other than we don't like them. That's really the crux of their argument.
And if that's the basis of the argument, the federal Supreme Court says that's not a valid argument.
Right. Right. And they referred back to several cases that I don't think I could possibly cite here and wouldn't make any difference to you anyway. But these are just the opening arguments. So if there's determined that there's standing for protect marriage to defend Prop 8, and if Imperial County's deputy clerk has any standing, then I assume that the case will go forward, and that we will hear there'll be documents brought forth and evidence, and
Witnesses.
we'll start seeing witnesses. Yeah. So
what are the two positive outcomes, real quick, that could happen from what happened today? There's two things that could happen that are favorable to gay people in California.
Right. Two things that could happen today. Well, if they determine that there's no standing to defend the case, then I believe the case stops here, and Judge Walker's injunction on not issuing licenses stands.
Which would mean gay marriage would start again.
Gay marriage would be legal in California again.
Which is good for California,
Mhm.
but maybe not for the whole country.
Maybe not. Because Jay and I have been talking about this a little bit. Because if it stops in California, there are still other cases that are proceeding to the Supreme Court. Now, if California has gay marriage, it sets precedents for other states to also do that. And I'm sure that in their legal battles, they'll be referring back to Perry versus Schwarzenegger. But at the same time, if it goes all the way to the Supreme Court and it fails there in a separate case, like the two that are coming out of Maine, then that also kind of reflects back onto California, at least in my rather ignorant and uninformed opinion of it.
Okay, and the second way that what could happen would be they rule that they do have standing.
It goes to trial.
Goes to trial.
We get the big nail-biting drama for the next week and a half.
Yep, and that could basically, help us in the long term for the whole country, but not necessarily for California.
Well, yeah, if it goes to trial and marriage equality wins, then we proceed to the next step in the judicial ladder, and we continue to argue it on the way to the Supreme Court. If it fails, then it basically stops here.
Okay, YouTube, so we're not going to drag this on forever. We both were glued to the TV, and it was a pretty exciting case. One thing I do have to say is, if we lose this case, it's not because of the attorneys that represented us. This is the first time I actually got to watch them put on their argument, and I'm very proud to say that we probably have some of the smartest, most intelligent attorneys in the world fighting for us. And if it ends up being that gay people are not protected sorry, our camera's not working with us today. If we lose this case and the Supreme Court, it gets to the Supreme Court and they rule that gay people are not a protected class, it has nothing to do with the people that represented us. It has to do with the biases and the discrimination built into the justices that sit there. And we've already seen several circumstances where, judges are being political and they're not following what the law says or the Constitution says.
Justice Kennard.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. So hopefully these cases will be decided on their merit and the legal arguments and not off of bigotry and bias.
And if you have the chance sometime during the week to watch this, it's on C-SPAN and it's also on the California channel. I'm also making an effort to have some sort of live stream on the blog.
Yeah.
And there will be endless discussion about it. Because hearing the analysis after the fact, reading it, is not the same as watching it.
You gotta watch it.
Yeah.
And then not only that, it educates you. It educates you on what we're fighting for. And as you know, me and Brian will fight and fight and fight in this country until every single United States citizen has gay marriage. And, we'll probably be like 90-year-old men making videos about gay marriage.
A couple of goombas talking about legal issues like they know.
So we hope you had a good morning, and we hope you watch the trial. Until next time, you two. Take care.
I know I'm really angry